these strings that have held us as a black community to always perpetual fear and fright and a delineation of just craziness has had to come from a demonic nature. There's no other way to put it. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes with Mike. I'm your host, Michael Beckford. And in today's topic is white man world, black man pain. The unreal pressure of living while black in America. There's been so much going on lately between the Carmelo Anthony case, the Mississippi boy that was a 1-year-old kid that was unalived, to another individual, a white tea individual that was under the influence, and he was able to walk away from a case of unaliving a young black teen. It's just so much. And of course the Rick Child situation as well. He got off on quote unquote self-defense after chasing down someone. So yeah, I got a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, these type of videos don't make it too great in the algorithm because they talk about real topics. So please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and hype this video. And we'll be back in a second. This is 5 Minutes with Mike. Our news, our voice, our issues. Believe that.
I just got a question to roll with me on this one. If white supremacists actually feel like they're supreme, why do they have to work so hard to try to make everything difficult for black people? I really wish I was joking, but damn near everything that complicates daily life for everybody was just to deny black people access. Credit scores were a means to stop black people from getting loans to be able to buy homes and to be able to start businesses. Marriage licenses weren't instituted until they wanted to stop interracial marriage. Most colleges were free until desegregation. You didn't even have a bar exam to become a lawyer until the Reconstruction era because so many black people were getting law degrees. Bridges were purposely built lower in some areas to deny people from public transit access and to deny people from being able to get to richer areas, more wealthy areas with that public transit, which also ended up denying them from certain job opportunities. So your options were limited. And now if you just happen to live in one of those broke areas and you don't have a car, the same thing still applies no matter what color you are. We already know that cops got their origins in slave patrols, tracking and controlling where black people went and where they were allowed to go and bringing them back to where they wanted them to be if they've somehow got out of that region. You feel what I'm saying? And in California only passed anti-open carry gun laws because the Black Panthers were open carrying in front of these cops and basically telling them what the hell you gonna do about it. Usually people who feel supreme to another group of people don't have so much fear in their heart. They usually don't feel like they have to deny people access because if we have the same access, you would really be able to show how supreme you are because you would outdo us in everything if we had the same access, right? But that's the problem. You're afraid that we would outdo you in everything mentally the same way we outdo you in everything physically. It's the same reason they constantly prop up athletes and musicians, people that entertain because that's what we're good for, a little tap dancing for the white man. But they won't tell you about James Baldwin or Angela Davis or W.E.B. Du Bois or, they'll show you a couple of Langston Hughes poems, but they won't really dive into it and really tell you what he's talking about for real because he's talking about them and talking about our strength and intellect as black people. They don't want to tell you about Patrice Lumumba or how Muammar Gaddafi tried to unite all of Africa because that would show you that you have some power. That would show you that, when your people come together, they can really do something. Nah. All you're good for is sports and dancing and singing, right? This is exactly why I say that it's not white supremacy. It's white narcissism, which is actually white fragility rooted in a massive inferiority complex. A lot of y'all really just need to go to therapy so you can grow your self-worth. Oh, Pookie.
This presentation of 5 Minutes with Mike is brought to you by the groundbreaking book HOMEBOYS by Michael D. Beckford. See what other individuals have to say about this book. Then grab your copy today wherever books are sold. All right, guys. There's a long saying that being a black man in America is constantly having to be in constant fear, constant mindset of just anger in a sense, and pressure, you know? Now, I'm not saying that I as an average black man are just walking around angry all day long, and a lot of black men aren't. But unfortunately, there are a subsect of black men, YNs, that are, walking around just with the stink face, you know? Whether it's built around some childhood traumas or knowing the fact that you can't go into a grocery store without somebody looking at you, watching your back. Cameras tend to tilt towards you while you're walking on the grocery aisles. Knowing that you can't go to the movie theater without somebody looking at you, watching your back. Going to church without somebody trying to unalive you. Think of Dylan Roof. Going to any particular place, whether it's a restaurant, and they thinking that you won't give a tip because you're black. You know what I'm saying? Being profiled every single where you go, every single day. Every single day. Every single day, it's painful to walk around these America, KKKA, America, knowing that you are constantly, literally stalked by a group of people that has always hated you, essentially. Always. And this group of people is always constantly talking about you just as well. Always. You know, that's why those quote unquote black fatigue videos, which they co-opted, took from us when we were talking about the plight of us just existing. They took it and co-opted it to something being bad in their favor of blacks. You know what I'm saying? When really we were saying we're so fatigued. We're so tired of you guys being in our spaces, coming in our places, and just being a nuisance to us. Just leave us the F alone. Leave us the F alone. And then, of course, you got the Karen class of people that just walk around. Anything you do, you can't go to the pool while black. You can't go, you know what I'm saying, to the park and just jog around and bird watch while black. There's always a Karen nearby to pick up her freaking phone and, call them boys in blue, former, AKA slave catchers. Oh, yeah, I heard Dr. Ritchie from Indisputable say, when you call them boys in blue, you're basically calling a pew-pew to a situation. You know what I'm saying? You guys know what a pew-pew is, all right? And it's a remarkable thing to be black in America. You know what I'm saying? I know the title said black man, but of course our black women, they deal with it. They deal with it strongly. They have to deal with, the whistles, not just from us as black men. Obviously, we can treat our women better, but they have to deal with the constant fear of, is this person going to try to do something harm to me? There was a recent story that came out where this dude, this white tee individual pretended to be a cop and basically tried to kidnap this black woman. Like literally tried to kidnap this black woman on the pretense of being a cop, because he knew that if he can dress up as a law enforcement figure, which is dominated by the white tee society, that he can provoke a feeling and a thought to try to do what his ancestors did, which was to grape this black woman, kidnap this black woman, and disappear her. Thank God she was able to get away. Thank God she was able to get away. But bro, it's too much, bro. Like, it's just too much.
When slavery ended, Washington, D.C., the federal government paid reparations to the slave owners for making them get rid of their property. But they didn't pay reparations to the enslaved people. That 40 acres and a mule, that never happened. Yes, it was passed, but benefited virtually no one. So now today, fast forward, And we're going to pay $1.8 billion, or even consider paying $1.8 billion in reparations to the people who sacked the Capitol building. But while the greatest debt in history remains unpaid, and we sit there and say, well, they don't need DEI.
Yeah.
We've leveled the playing field. How the did you level the playing field? Like, are you kidding me? Slavery was legal for over 200 years in this country. For 200 years. Those slaveholders gathered the wealth created by those enslaved people and then passed that massive amount of wealth down to the white slave owners' heirs, which just grew over the generations. But we never paid reparations to the people who produced all that wealth. And then we pretend that even the word reparations is like a handout. No, it's a piece of the pie that your great-grandfather generated but was never allowed to benefit from, was never allowed to hand down to his kid, to hand down to their kid, to their kid, to their kid.
Too much of a struggle every day. Just to walk down the street, just to be in your car is a problem. Just chilling in your car at times, not bothering anybody is somebody calls, a Karen calls, oh yeah, there's a stranger in the car, and 4 of them boys in blue show up. Why 4 for one person in a car? Dude, I swear. No other ethnic group in America has to deal with the things in which we as a people have gone through in this partial place we call the US of A. No other group deals with it. No other group had to deal with freaking redlining. No other group have to deal with it. Right now, there's purposeful moves in the South to take away our rights, our voting rights as citizens, bro. Because these individuals, as my brother from the Amazing Lucas says, are a delineation of evil. Just evil, bro. There's no way that you cannot be evil when you can have a mindset to take a young one, right? And use that young one, essentially, for bait for alligators, bro. This happened. And also to have a mindset to use our hairs, the hairs of our ancestors, in material for furniture, bro. Like, you have to not be, you have to be the true subhuman individual to think of these things, these Hannibal Lecter type of things. And it wasn't just one person that was responsible for it. There was this was a culture of evil. And guess what happens with evil? And guess what happens with demonic figures? When you think about the Nephilim in the Bible, the Nephilim was in Genesis, but they never went away. Like, demons, from my understanding, in biblical standpoint, they don't just die. They move on, and because they're spirits, they move on to another spirit, and then they take on that person and influence them. So to me, these things that have happened, these strings that have held us as a black community to always perpetual fear and fright and a delineation of just craziness has had to come from a demonic nature. There's no other way to put it. There's nothing natural about it, bro. Nothing natural about it. And so every single day, we as black men walk into spaces where we're the most hated. Black women, same thing. But the black man is judged the harshest because there's one thing about a black man, especially a strong black man, like the figures we saw in the Cosbys, right? A strong black man shows an era where he can move, he can show resistance, he can put in a manner of well-being in a household that is desperately needed. Like, the black man changes the equilibrium to everything, right? And so When you go to war, when the country goes to war, what's the first thing they want to do? They want to take out the men. They want to take out the men. And so, unfortunately, we as in the America, right, as black people in America, there has been a war on our families. There's been a war on black families. And so taking out the black men now can perpetuate a criminal type of society, essentially. Not saying that a single family homes all breed criminals. I'm not saying that. But the likelihood, especially when it comes down to a little black boy going into crime, increases without a black father in the household. Okay? They all know this. They all know that when you don't have jobs in a community, that community is going to go to shit. That community is going to do drugs. That community is going to go to whatever way it can to survive. They all know this. That's why there was programs back in the day for kids to do better. Summer programs, all that. All that stuff was taken away for a reason. Because they believe more in the prison industrial complex when it comes down to our black boys, our black men, our black women, than for us to be an equal in competing against them in a workplace. Because we've already shown in sports, we've already shown even in areas of mathematics, in areas of science, astronomy, other areas, that if an equal opportunity, meaning pound for pound, similar household, similar finances, similar everything, pound for pound, if an equal opportunity is met and given to black society as a whole, we tend to dominate that particular field. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what it is. We dominate. And so the dominant society does not want that. So here we are. We're constantly policed by individuals that don't look like us. Whether police in those that are giving law enforcement duties, or those that are giving duties of policing in a subliminal manner. What I mean by that, Rick Child knew in his back in his mind that because the fact that he was not of a darker skin, that the likelihood of him being able to get off was much more easier, and to be able to claim self-defense was much more prudent than if it was in the reverse. Okay? Carmelo Anthony right now should never have even gone to jail, my dude. Never even gone to jail. Never. But because the systems that are in place are constantly moved in an area to shake and break the spirit of black American people, or what they call foundational black Americans, then we will always have this residual cycle of sin from a people that is constantly watching us, constantly trying to figure out what is our next move so they can go 2 steps ahead of us. But ultimately, when it comes down to the pressures of living in black America, as a black man myself, it gets tiring, bro. It's fucking tiring, bro. Like, really. You watch the news, you watch someone that looks like you get unalived. It's tiring. It really, really is. And then I hear some folks say, "Oh, well, why don't y'all just build up your own black businesses and build up other places and communities, so y'all will be just fine." Nigga, we did all that. We did all that. And we still do it. But every time the blacks build the dominant society in this country, we all know who that is, they freaking tear it down. They freaking tear it down. Think of Rosewood, Florida. Think of Tuskegee. Not Tuskegee, I'm sorry. Well, that area. Black Wall Street. You guys know what Black Wall Street was. Think of there's many different cities that Ocoee, Florida. Yeah, there's another one from Florida. Many different examples of cities and places, towns where blacks were dominating. We had our own banks. We had our own educational systems. We had our own police. We police ourselves. In all these places, because of a jealous heart, because of a demonic spirit, these individuals, a part of the white society, the dominant society, said no. and they went and found a way to burn it all down. All right, guys. This is the episode. I don't really want to talk more about this. If you are Black American here in these society, you know exactly the pain that we go through. You know exactly the trauma that we go through every day. My thing is this, bro. We have to continue to be our own vessels. We have to continue to make the impact where we can make the impact. You know what I'm saying? And pray that at the end of the day that we will be able to be the victors in this particular situation and the war on our culture. All right, guys, please like, subscribe, and hype this video, and definitely comment below. Have a blessed day.